Lesson 2.9 is on solving inequalities. And we're going to go back to solving these inequalities using addition. Okay? So, the process is very, very similar. Okay? We're going to start by drawing a line to separate the sides. It's even more important to do that first step when you're solving these. Okay? Because the sides of the equations matter more. The sides are not equal. So we really have to pay attention to which side is greater than or less than the other side. Okay? So, first thing you do is draw a line to separate the two sides. Then, find the side with the variable, add the opposite of the number. So if the number is 8, you add -8, so that the only thing left on that side is n, or the variable. We have to isolate the variable. We talked about that before. So get the variable by itself. That's the first thing you have to do. Always start on the side with the variable and get the variable by itself. Okay? Then go to the other side and add the same number. So if you added -8 on the side with the variable, you add -8 on the other side. Whatever you come up with the answer, that is the solution. Now, you use the symbol. So this is greater than or equal to, so that means the solution is n is greater than or equal to 11. Okay? But we can't just leave it that way. We have to show what the solution is on the number line. So you have to graph these. So we have to go to the next steps. Solve it, then graph. So first you have to mark the number, or I should say draw a number line if it's not already there. Draw a number line. Mark where 0 is on the number line. And then mark where the number is. If it's positive, it's to the right of 0. You don't have to put marks where every number is. Okay? Just put where 0 is. Put 0 in the middle. And then put where the number is that you're graphing. Okay? It'll take too long to put marks for every numbers or to draw a scale and all that. I don't want you to spend time doing that when you're graphing these. So just draw a number line, mark where 0 is, mark where the number is, and then make sure you mark the number with the correct type of dot. Okay? Graph it. Use the correct dot. If it's an open dot, it means that it's just greater than or less than. Eyes up here, guys. Eyes up here. Then, if it's greater than or equal to less than or equal to, you use a solid dot. So you mark that with the appropriate dot, and then draw the arrow the correct direction. I'm going to graph the solution. Okay? Go to your worksheet. Look at the first one. Number 1. How do we solve this one? What's the first thing you should do when solving? Step 1. What do we do? Krista? It already is an addition problem. 7 plus x equals 9.
Add -7.
Alright, before you even do that, draw a line to separate the sides. Okay? Draw a line to separate the sides. Then, go to the next step. Krista?
Then you minus.
Close. You set it the other. You don't minus +7. You add -7. Good. Then add -7. Go to the side with the variable and add -7. And that gets x by itself. The 0 plus x equals x. Okay? Then what? Otto?
You add -7 to 9.
Good. Then add -7 to 9. To the other side. Then write the solution with the symbol. Greater than or equal to 2. X is greater than or equal to 2. Okay? Now we have to graph the solution. So the number lines are already drawn for you. Mark where 2 is on the number line. So it's to the right of 0. Label it the number 2. Mark it with the appropriate dot. It would be solid or open. Solid. Solid dot. And now draw the line. Maya? To the right. X is greater than or equal to. Okay? The next one is different. How is it different? Danny?
Because instead of it being less than, the answer is greater than.
Okay. So X, the X is on the right side, I think is what you're trying to say, right? Instead of starting on the left side, we're starting on the right side. And the solution is going to be turned around. Okay? So what should we first do? Draw a line to separate the sides. Then insert a what? No, insert a plus sign in front of the -6. Insert a plus sign in front of the -6. Because then we can identify the 6 as a -6 and add the opposite, which is +6. So now we have x plus 0 on the right side and then x by itself. What property is that? X plus 0 equals x. What property is that? Bella? Of? Is it addition or multiplication? Addition. It's the identity property of addition. Okay? Then what? How do we get the solution? Aiden? Good. Add 6 on the other side. That equals 1. So 1 is less than or equal to x. Alright? Now, remember the sides are important. So don't write, well, x is less than or equal to 1, because that's a completely different solution. Okay? Now, how do we graph this? What does it mean? We need to graph x, right, Catherine? So where is x in relation to 1 on the number line?
X in relation to 1?
Yeah, so how do we graph this?
Well, if right now we say x equals 1, 1 is right next to 0, so you draw a line right next to 0.
Okay. Mark it with a
Open dot.
a
solid dot.
No.
Which one?
A solid
The
dot.
one
Yes.
colored in.
Because it could be equal to 1. The solution could be equal to 1. So 1 is included in the solution. Now what?
Then you draw a line to the right.
To the right, but the arrow is to the left.
Oh, and?
No, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You draw this to the right. Okay? But I thought that we could just draw it the same direction as the arrow is pointing.
That means that it's the arrow is pointing to the left-hand side.
Okay. But what is this describing, this
It's
sentence?
saying that 1 could be equal to or greater than,
Less than or equal to. So it's less than or equal to 1. What does that mean for x, though? What does that
Greater than
mean?
1.
Otto?
Is that x is equal to or greater than 1?
Right. That means x is greater than or equal to 1. And since we're graphing what x is on the number line,
1 would be.
you are shading where x is on the number line. Okay? Not where 1 is. 1 is to the left of x. X is to the right of 1. No, that means you still mark the number on the number line, but you shade the direction that x is. X is in this area. To the right. That's why I drew that arrow to the right. Okay? Because 1 is less than or equal to x, which means that x is greater than or equal to 1. And so if it's helpful for you, I would recommend turning this around and writing it x is greater than or equal to 1. If the number is on the left, then turn the whole thing around so that the variable is written first. But remember, you have to change the symbol then also. So you're turning the whole thing around. You're turning the whole thing around when you write it with the variable first. Okay? Yes? This, we're not checking these. Alright? Checking them is well, it's a lot more complicated than before, because when you're checking it, you have to choose a number to the right of 1 and then insert it into the original equation, and so we're not going to take the time to do that. That's a little bit more advanced. We'll be doing that later on. One of the last things we do in the school year is checking inequalities, but for now we're not going to do that. Okay? Alright, so finish this worksheet.